Good afternoon and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Lee Doubleday and I'm with the Imagine America Foundation. I'm excited about today's topic, Education and Training Opportunities for 2021 High School Graduates, sponsored by Bryant and Stratton College. Bryant and Stratton College has an online school as well as 19 ground campuses in New York, Ohio, Virginia, and Wisconsin. Bryant and Stratton College is also a brand new member of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs. The Imagine America Foundation has provided over $180 million in tuition assistance since our inception in 1999 for graduating high school seniors. If you would like more information on how to help your students apply for our scholarship to attend this school, please visit our website, which is www.imagine-america.org. Since our beginning in 1999, Imagine America remains a leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces a serious shortage in certified technicians. We hear from employers in virtually all sections of the country, desperately looking for qualified employees, so we need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation is Bryant and Stratton College, and joining us today to discuss in detail the looming technician shortage and how Bryant and Stratton is helping meet this need is Crystal Morgan. Crystal is Bryant and Stratton College's premier high school presenter and has been working with high schools and college admissions for over 15 years. But before turning the program over to Crystal, let me outline today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum with question and answers at the end of the presentation. All participants can submit questions while the presentation is in session via the Q&A feature in this Zoom meeting. So if you have a question and you think about it while Crystal is presenting, please feel free to submit it in the Q&A feature and we'll get to it at the end of the presentation. If we do not get to your question at the end of the presentation, I will put you in contact with either Crystal or myself, and we will answer your question after the presentation. So without taking any more valuable time from today's presentation, let me turn today's session over to Crystal Morgan. Crystal, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Lee. All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to spend this afternoon talking about a very important topic, which is challenges facing the healthcare workforce. We're going to talk about some of the opportunities in the healthcare industry. And then lastly, we'll be talking about Bryant and Stratton College's path to college and career success. So one of the things that we know is that there's an evolving workforce, and it's important now more than ever to really consider how your students' education is going to prepare them for that workforce that is ever evolving. If we look back at the 1900s, there was a split variety between service, agricultural, manufacturing, and other. But as you shift to the here and now, you can see that 80% of our workforce is service related. So even when you think about those healthcare opportunities, it's important that our students are graduating with that understanding that they are going into a service industry. When we look at the gap between healthcare job openings and hires, it's growing. And the growth for those new job openings is not done yet. The employment in healthcare occupations is projected to grow 15% from 2019 to 2029, which is much faster than all occupations, which will add about 2.4 million new jobs. Healthcare occupations are also projected to add more jobs than any other occupational group. And this projected growth is mainly due to an aging population, which is leading to greater demand for healthcare services. And those job openings in healthcare are projected to soar by nearly 1.3 million by 2026. We also have a wave of retiring nurses, which is creating a growing number of vacancies. So when you take a look at the survey that was created back in 2018 that talks about the nurse workforce report card and shortage forecast, you can see, looking at the blue, which is 2015, within 1 year, 16% of nurses were planning to retire, or less than a year. Within 1 year, 4%, 2 years, 9%, within 3 years, 9%, and at 4 years or more, 62% of the nurses who filled out that report card in 2015 were planning to retire within that next 4 years or more. If we take a look at 2017, when it was re-looked at, again, within a year, 27%. at a year, 9%, 2 years, 11%, 3 years, 6%, and 4 years or more, 46%. And with so many nurses going into the retirement phase, we know that a nurse graduate cannot replace a veteran nurse with decades of institutional and professional knowledge, along with years of specialty training and practice. And this is what's going to make it critical to generate supply quickly so that we can train them, they can practice, and really work to mitigate the loss of the experience via that retirement wave. So healthcare education can certainly mitigate some of that supply loss. In 2010, the Institute of Medicine set a goal of having 80% of the nursing workforce to hold at least a bachelor's of science in nursing by 2020. Currently, 56% of nurses have their bachelor's degree. And why is this important? One, it's going to respond to the decline in experienced nurses via retirement. It responds to the increasing complexity of care. It responds to hospitals that are hoping to earn magnet status, which means they have to provide proof of plans to increase their BSN workforce. And that BSN also prepared nurses have better patient outcomes and a higher competency in nursing practice, as well as increased skills, communication, leadership, and professional integration. And as we continue to look at projection of percent of nurses with that bachelor's degree of higher, we're really looking at about, if we could get 70% of new registered nurses to get their BSN or higher, and the number of RN to BSN graduates to 100,000 per year, we could obtain that goal of getting to 80%. So in taking a look at healthcare career growth overall, when you look at 2019 to 2029 throughout the United States, nursing jobs will grow 7%, LPN jobs will grow 9%, and healthcare jobs overall will grow 15%. Looking at all other jobs, or all jobs total encompassing of healthcare, we're looking at a 3.7% growth. So if we took out that 15% for healthcare jobs, overall job growth would have declined even lower than that 3.7. The other benefit of being in the healthcare field is obviously, income potential. When you look at the median earnings in the United States, RN positions are $35.24 per hour. Median earnings for LPNs in the United States is $22.83 per hour. And median earnings for all other United States jobs is $19.30 per hour. So what we know is that growing the healthcare workforce via a skilled focused education is going to help to address those challenges. So if we look at the old way was we graduate from high school, we get into a college, you focus on getting a solid education, earn your degree, and once you graduate, you start the job search process. The new way is by the time students are graduating, they're really thinking about what they want to do to get into a good, satisfying career. Which jobs are going to be a great fit? Where can they get some hands-on level experience prior to graduation? Where can they gain the skills that employers need and are looking for? And ultimately becoming career ready while in college, and some even seek internship opportunities while still attending school. So knowing those challenges that face the healthcare workforce, let's talk about some of the opportunities in the healthcare industry. We know that there's 1.6 million current job openings for nurses and 19% projected growth in demand for RNs by 2024. And there's a significant need for educated nurses with skills such as networking, professional integration, teamwork, research and evaluation, critical thinking and creative problem solving, communication, conflict resolution, leadership, and then clinical patient care. And I think it's important that we help our students to see that in the healthcare industry, there are clinical and non-clinical career opportunities. And some students who may have never considered healthcare as an option probably didn't do so because they don't see themselves really looking at that clinical setting. But there's so many other additional opportunities out there. So what we know is that healthcare education provides educational and career pathing opportunities. There's a demand in healthcare, which provides various career opportunities depending on that person's preference, on their goals, what type of setting would they like to work in, what type of work or what specialty or field. It really provides an opportunity in that healthcare education sector for students to take a phased approach to their education and really allowing them to experience the profession before deciding and investing in their next educational step. So in the example that we're showing here, this would be a student who's more clinical focused. Perhaps they start out as a medical assistant, graduating, moving on to an LPN, licensed practical nurse, realizes, yes, this is absolutely the direction they want to continue. They get their RN degree at the associate's level. And then, of course, ultimately, they've continued on with their education and they've now earned their bachelor's of science in nursing. So knowing that there's different career progression, knowing that there's opportunities that exist in the healthcare industry, how is Bryant and Stratton College on a path to college and career success? We know that with nearly 170 years of educating tomorrow's workforce, we're able to meet industry standards. We have 19 building-based campuses nationwide and 1 outstanding online division. And what we have in common between all of our campuses is top-notch career services assistance at all locations, which is focused on preparing graduates for career procurement. So if you took a look at the healthcare programs of study, we talked about, that career progression. One of the things that we talk to our students about is stackable degree options. So when you look at the list here, you can see for the state of Wisconsin, looking just at our healthcare programs of study, a student could go into one of our diploma programs, moving on then to an associate's degree and continuing on to earn their bachelor's degree. And then obviously for a complete list of programs, you can always visit our website. What you're seeing here is that we have an industry-aligned learning environment. So our industry-aligned medical wing provides students with hands-on instruction that will help them gain real-world experience, which is experience that today's healthcare employers need and are looking for. In this environment, students will learn theory, learn assessment skills, learn and apply soft skills in a clinical classroom environment, which not only enhances their learning experience, but it prepares them for a successful transition into their healthcare careers. And they do all of this under the instruction and guidance of highly experienced and qualified healthcare faculty. One of the things that we alluded to at the beginning of the presentation is we talked about the fact that we are in an ever-changing environment. And one of the things that we've been able to do is make sure that students in our healthcare programs are able to complete any clinical skills-oriented classes on site in a safe CDC-compliant environment. And for other programs and classes that are non-clinical, Bryant and Stratton College affords students the opportunity to learn in that blended learning environment. And there's 2 really important components of the blended learning process. The first component is related to instruction. So blended learning is going to split the instructional experience between face-to-face class meetings and then the virtual instruction that occurs online. The second component is related to virtual online learning. Students will be engaged in the online virtual environment to complete homework, class preparation, and other assignments. But the best part is that students are never alone. The online virtual components of the course can be completed based on the student's schedule, but they also have the same instructor available for feedback, guidance, support, and through all of their virtual online activities. So the best feature of blended learning is really support. And knowing the environment that we're in, so many of our students are having to navigate obstacles that they didn't have to do in the past, whether it be other family members at home that are being homeschooled in K through 12, medical challenges, different pieces. And so we're truly able to meet our students where we are. But that benefit of support allows them to still have classroom interaction, access to computer labs, that question forum with a regular instructor, face-to-face connections, tutoring services, working with career services professionals, And then of course, 24/7 access to the virtual library and librarians. So when we look at where our healthcare graduates in Wisconsin are getting hired, you can see the list here, Aurora Healthcare, ATI Physical Therapy, 3 Pillars. And this just represents, a small list of some of the employers that we are partnering with locally, because again, our focus is we want our students on a path to graduate college with a career in mind. In addition to our healthcare programs, we also offer degrees in legal services, business, technology, and education. So as we talked about earlier, the importance of stackable degree options and career progression. In each of these fields, the student could choose a different field and go through that same type of progression. So if you have a student who's a little bit more non-healthcare focused, we could certainly still meet with them and discuss those career options that would be available in the appropriate field. We certainly don't want to forget about Bobcats athletics. As you can see from taking a look here, many of our students come to us because they want the career-focused education, but we also have a pretty robust athletics program in our Wisconsin market. So as you can see, we have men and women's sports and a variety of programs. We also have brand new esports. It's been with us for about the last year and a half. And so if you have students that are interested in athletics, certainly have them to reach out. They can work with our coaches. We can talk to them about, both athletic and academic scholarships. Again, this is just another alternative for students that want to continue post high school with their athletic abilities. So what are the resources that are available to your students? The first is obviously our admissions team, and our admissions staff is here to support students throughout the admissions process. We provide personalized one-on-one support to really talk with each student to really figure out what is going to be the best fit for them in terms of career exploration. It's not just about what do they have an interest in, but what do they come to us with skills already that they've gained. What are their true interests and passions, and what are they willing to commit to be successful in those career paths? We'll then help them with each step in the enrollment process, from the application all the way through actually beginning classes. Our financial aid team is pretty awesome because one of the things that we'll do is answer questions for students regardless of where they're looking to attend. Is if students have questions about the financial aid process, about how to request an FSAID, how to complete the FAFSA, those are basic questions that we can answer. In addition, we can offer one-on-one financial aid advisement where we can give them complete insight into a financial aid plan for students and their parents. And a lot of times students come to us and they just have general questions about how do loans, grants, and scholarships work. So we want to take the stress out of the financial aid experience and make sure that our students and their families walk away with a clear understanding of how college can be made affordable. The next resource is really our academics team. And our academics team, from the instructor to their advisor, is here to support the academic success of each student. And because we know the more successful your students are academically, the more likely they are to succeed professionally, every student has access to an academic team that will really go the extra mile to ensure their success. That includes free tutoring and advisement, accessible instructors who are versed in the industry within that they teach, and a dedicated team committed to each student's academic success. And then lastly is our career services team. And our primary mission of career services is to ensure that every student and soon-to-be graduate is prepared for and supported through the career search and acquisition process. Our relationship with local community provides robust opportunities for graduates regardless of their program of study. We can help with things like resume prep and assistance, interview prep to include mock interviews with actual employers, general career advisement, and even assistance with locating and leveraging internship and practicum experience. So as you've listened today, if there's something that you've heard where you feel like there's opportunity to partner, there's a variety of formats that we can look at to partner with you and your students. And obviously we want you to work what works best for you, that you feel would create an engaging and environment for your students. So one of the ways is we can conduct workshops, whether it be live, in person. We know those are limited due to some of the restrictions, but we do still have some high schools that are inviting us in person, where we can provide all materials and the technology that's needed. We also have a variety of high school contacts that have said the best way to reach their students is virtual. And with virtual, we can conduct workshops via Skype, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google. You can invite us using the different preferred platforms. And some of the topics that we have done workshops for is resume and interview skills, financing your education, healthcare careers, social media, the importance of branding yourself, making sure that students understand the importance of budgeting. We can also custom build workshops that meet the needs of your classroom. So there's other ways we can partner. We've had some schools who find value in bus trips or field trips, whether it's in person or virtual. We're able to take your students on a tour so they can get a glimpse of college life, see and hear interesting information about programs of interest, along with many of the resources available. We can host career days where we can arrange for local employers to be present and answer questions about careers in any of the fields in which we offer programs of study. Obviously, virtual or in-person college fairs. Although we are currently looking to participate in any local college fairs, we can also work with you to design a fair for our local campuses and our online environment. And then one of our requested items has been financial aid fairs. What we have found is, due to some of the restrictions, many of our students that are seniors this year, our rising juniors, missed out in the spring with getting information on financial aid resources. So we can work with you to host a financial aid information session that would be available to students and parents that really focus on preparing students for financial aid success. So if any of those seem of interest, or you just have some general questions, you can certainly reach out to me, and I can help with putting you in contact with the campus that's most near your students. As a teacher or counselor, you play an important role. Counselors and teachers truly are the catalyst who can help change and mold lives. You may be the only one giving the students the real facts about college and career readiness. High school students need to learn and understand how high school prepares them for college, and ultimately how college is going to prepare them for a career. You may, in fact, be the only one that provides the motivation needed to think about and pursue a successful life after high school, starting with attending college and really helping them to decide what college is going to be best for them. And you are often the conduit between your student and the college or colleges that best fit your student and their interests and career aspirations. So if you're thinking, you want to learn a little bit more information about the college or some of the opportunities that exist, ways to partner, you can also research and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can go directly to our website or our athletics website, which is bscbobcats.com. We also have information and videos that are out there available on YouTube. And with that, Lee, I will turn it back over to you for question and answers.
All right, awesome. Yeah, we are now going to start the question and answer portion of our presentation. So if you have a question for either myself or Crystal, feel free to use the Q&A feature in the Zoom meeting and ask your question. It does look like we had a question come in. Crystal, this person wants to know if there are GPA requirements in order to get into Bryant and Stratton College.
So that is an excellent question. So some of our programs do have GPA requirements. So for example, OTA, occupational therapy assistant, PTA, physical therapy assistant, those do have GPA requirements. But the majority of our programs do not, as we have our own entrance assessments that students would take, and based on passing their entrance assessments, they would be accepted into the college.
Okay. And can you just reiterate what the financial aid fair is and how a counselor could go about scheduling a financial aid fair with their students?
Sure, absolutely. So a financial aid fair would be so a counselor could reach out and request that we set up a financial aid day or night for students and parents. It would be representatives from our admissions team as well as our financial aid team who would be able to really walk the students through the basics of financial aid. So one, what is it? Why do I need it? What type of information would be needed to request an FSA ID? What type of information is going to be needed to complete a FAFSA? explaining why parent information is needed on the FAFSA, and even taking it so far as to helping students, we can't do that for them, but really helping them to walk through that FSA website and walk through the FAFSA website and helping them to understand what to fill out and why to fill out and how to fill out, so that ultimately they can get their award letters for a variety of colleges and start to compare cost and affordability for college.
Very cool. Okay, one other question. This person wants to know if you offer housing at your campus, because I think they're thinking it may be a little bit of a drive for their students to get to your Wisconsin campuses. Do you offer housing?
So great question. We do have housing options available. Again, many of our athletes are distant recruitment students. And so as a student would come in with their family to meet with admissions, they would just need to let their admissions advisor know that they'll be distant recruit. They're not going to be able to travel back and forth daily, and they could really walk them through the various housing options and, again, how to make that affordable.
Okay. All right. Well, just a few house cleaning items here. I am going to be compiling the recording of this session and sending that to you likely tomorrow morning. So you should be receiving an email from me. There is an exit survey. So when we exit this meeting, there is a 5-question survey. If you wouldn't mind answering those questions, it's pretty straightforward stuff. Shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes, but it kind of helps us hone in on certain aspects of the presentation and any future things that we missed. We will also be presenting or putting this presentation on our website, which again is www.imagine-america.org. When I send you the recording of this presentation, I will be sure to include Crystal Morgan's contact information. So I would urge you to reach out to Crystal. If maybe you have a question that you didn't think of this time around and watched the recording and wanted to know something, you feel free to reach out to Crystal. But before closing, I just want to thank all of our participants for taking time out of their busy schedules to join us today. And I'd also like to thank Crystal for sharing with us today's presentation and encourage each and every one of you to contact her directly with any future questions. On behalf of the Imagine America Foundation, I want to thank you and goodbye.